Why did you change rooms after a fatal accident happened next door? To be honest, I couldn't care less about whether unrelated people live or die. Geez, lady. I live in accident properties and have had a bunch of other stuff happen when I wasn't selling. I heard it was an accident, but no. I thought he fell while drunk or something. Did you ever see the victim drunk before he died? I often saw the dude by the ice machine in front of the large public bath on the underground floor. The hotel's ice machine. The kind where you press a button and it drops a bunch of ice? That's the one. He was always scooping ice into plastic bags and taking it back to his room. He put beer cans and stuff in the ice to chill the whole can. I tried coughing it the other day and it's pretty good. The drink doesn't get watered down and it still gets icy cold. Since he taught me something good, I forgave him for occasionally making a ruckus in his room. A ruckus? Could you tell me more about that ruckus? When and around what time, and who was he with? Come on, maybe you could press me for details. I heard it a few times and I don't remember the exact times. That dude's voice was weirdly piercing, like it could pass right through the hotel walls. But I couldn't hear any other voices at all, so maybe I don't know who he was with. Maybe on the phone? You can't hear voices from the hallway though. Seems the walls between rooms are thin. Oh, but it was quite all day yesterday. At least I didn't hear any human voices. Can you say that for certain? I'm sure about that. I get sensitive to human voices when gaming. So, can I get back to it? To your writing? No, my game. I made good progress with an all-nighter, so I think I'm near the final battle. Once I beat it, I think I can go bam and write. I have to beat it at all costs. Be careful not to get banned by your editor. I wish you hadn't banned me to reality. Room 507 nuclear edited tips. Individual information Umeko Akai. I guess I was staying in room 507 in Namino Hotel for several months. She's a novelist. During the stay, she had heard the victim, who was also staying in the adjacent room for an extended period, shouting angrily many times. She testified, however, that on the day of the incident, it was quiet the whole time. Now she saw the victim in front of the ice machine at the basement. Okay, that's all these people then. So, last place, the victim's room. Who's this guy? Who goes there? Oops, don't let him get away. Whoa, who are you guys? Detective Tamura from District Elimination Station. I'm a senpai. Shh, cops, huh? Why are you here? What's your objective? You think anyone would answer that? And how about this? This? This. What? Why now is your head falling off? It comes off because it can. In any case, I'll make it the same as this if you don't talk. Eek! This is no time to space out. Senpai just made a change for me. So that's how it is. Talk if you don't want your head to be detachable. Okay, I get it. First, state your name. But put your head back on first. There we go. So, who are you? The name's Kotaro Kurano. I'm a freelance journalist, same as the late Kogane. Yep, this is one of those guys. So we're just missing Shoma Aoki. Because we met Daiki, we met Umiko, and we met Kotaro. We're just missing Shoma. Corona, the one who was on the 5th floor of the day of the incident. I was staying in room 518, across from his room. Now we moved to the 6th floor. Why were we sneaking into his room? That guy said that before he died. Said he got his mitts on some pretty juicy secrets, but it didn't seem like it'd make money as a scoop. A scoop that would make money? What kind of scoop would make money? Is when a famous person does something bad, people just eat it up when someone's caught doing something shady, right? It satisfies folks' cravings for socially acceptable gossip. So you're investigating together? No. My target was an author staying at this hotel. I wanted to get proof of the rumor that the author was having a trust with a big shot actor, but it seems bogus. So to fill that hole, you tried to get your hands on the scoop Kagane thought he got, and snuck into his room to do it? Well, what else was I supposed to do? Covering a story doesn't come cheap. Do you have any idea how tough it is to slip into here without being spotted by the manager, who's always prowling the hallways? The fruit of the effort was unlawful entry, huh? Should we arrest him? I'm sorry. I just wanted to know what scoop he had. And you intended to pass it off as your own achievement if possible, right? It's better than nothing even if it wasn't a big moneymaker. That kind of thinking? It's a dog-eat-dog world out there. Maybe we should catch him before he eats. I'm telling you, I didn't touch anything. I came in the room and that's it. Geez, so did you find the scoop materials or whatever? Nope. There was strangely nothing left at all. Did the police confiscate it or something? No way. I watched the police investigation from afar and all they took was a bag of clothes in the bottom. He was looking into the party venue at this hotel, so there should have been a laptop and documents. I understand that there was a laptop, but documents about this hotel's party venue? You're right. Both are missing. See, I couldn't find anything in this room. But man, why do you fall from the window? You usually wouldn't even go near windows. Was the victim afraid of heights? Yeah, he fell off some bridge a while back, so he hated high places. I only know that by chance from when we met to do a reporting together before. For staying a while, the room's really clean. Almost too clean. Hey, detective. What's with that woman? She's my senior detective. Hey, excuse me, Miss Detective. Could I have a short interview with you? Nope. Shh. Alright, and how about this other thing strange? What's that? A recorder is set up in the hotel hallway. It sounds about 30 minutes before the incident. Why do you have something like that? I always set it up before bed in case anything happens. I was asleep in my room at that time. Heh, did you report anything interesting? It doesn't have sounds from other rooms. The wall between the rooms in the hall are pretty thick. So we recorded the sound of him hitting the ground and also some kind of weird sound. Weird sound? At 1:35 p.m., there's a small thud, like something falling, that kind of thing. It's a small sound, but I want to hear it. Hear it! I'll borrow this recorder. And about that interview? You want to be arrested on suspicion of illegal entry? We're taking the tape recorder. Damn it! Fear of heights. Nuclear added to tips. Room 508. Nuclear added to tips. Recorded sound. Nuclear added to tips. Acrophobia. The victim had a fear of heights and disliked even approaching windows. Only those close to the victim noticed. Room 508. All the room keys in the hotel are cylinder keys, and the room is currently left open for investigation purposes. The victim's room is unusually clean. According to Corona, the laptop and documents that the victim should have brought with him during his stay at the hotel are all missing. If the police didn't take them out, where did the materials go? Recorded sounds. Individual information, Kotaro Corona. The guest was staying in room 508 of Namin Hotel. He was a fellow freelance writer, and the victim is now staying on the 6th floor. He snuck into room 508 while avoiding the eyes of the manager, who was always in the hallway upon hearing that the victim had obtained a scoop. Wouldn't make money. He knew that the victim disliked high places and wouldn't approach the window, so he was suspicious of the accident. He has a habit of turning on a recorder before sleeping, and the following incident occurred while he was napping. His recorder captured an unusual sound just before the incident. At 1:35 p.m. there's a small thud, or something falling, that kind of thud. And the recorded sound. Oh no, that is this. So. A party venue. First, the cleaner. Who are you? We're from the District 99 station. We have some questions about yesterday's fall incident. Ah, you mean that incident? Oh boy, what a whole mess of trouble that turned into. May I have your name? Shoma Aoki. I work as a cleaner in this hotel. That's the last guy. Shoma Aoki. Have you worked at this hotel a long time? That's right, I've been working as a cleaner here since I was young. Can't say how much longer this old hotel and myself will hold up though. What do you mean? This hotel used to be lively, but guests have really decreased lately. It used to be that folks from the church next door would come liven things up at the hotel lounge on Sundays. but the church started renovation work about 2 years ago, and since then, the lounge has been dead quiet. The management probably realized things were dire, so right after Christmas last year, I think, they suddenly announced renovations and stopped operating for half a year. Changed managers and swapped out a lot of staff. The atmosphere did change, and whether this hotel can return to its former prosperity is... That church is still under renovation right now? Seems that way. They can't, unfortunately, find any skilled workers to handle the repairs, so the work's just dragging on. Can we really call that renovation work? Did you hear the victim? Yes, the ice man. Ice what? Ever since that long-term guest showed up, the ice machine by the Poly Battery has been on the fritz. It's probably because he dispensed an amount of ice you wouldn't normally think was possible. The ice machine's an old piece of work, so that played a part, I reckon. But it finally conked out completely the day before yesterday. The day before yesterday. That's the day before the fall incident. Yes, the Iceman himself was the one who noticed that the machine was broken and not dispensing ice. He made a big scene at the front desk in the end. It took the staff promising to bring ice up to his room to finally get him to send it down. I heard that they started making large ice just for him in the freezers in the kitchen's freezer. How big was the ice? Length, width, thickness? It was about the same size as 1 liter milk carton, I think. That's pretty big. Why did the victim make a huge fuss over mere ice? Well, I don't know that much. Maybe the victim had pagophagia? Pagophagia? Literally an illness where they can't feel at ease unless they eat ice. There are various causes, apparently. If we examine the victim's hemoglobin concentration, we might know if pagophagia was a possibility. Migraine headaches are another possibility. My ice packs were a must-use the pain. Young lady, you sure know a lot. Because I'm a detective. You're a detective? Yep, that's right. Have we met someone before? I don't know. I see. Victim in the ice machine, a new clue added to tips. Well, what's this? Just got a short message from the number I don't recognize. Let me just check this. Victim in the ice machine. You know, Sherman Loki, a cleaner who was working in Nama Hell for a long time. The victim in the ice maker. The ice maker machine broke down the day before yesterday. The day before the incident. Because the victim kept dispensing a large amount of ice from it. The victim yelled at the front desk, and since then the staff had been regularly bringing ice to victims' rooms in quantities equivalent to 1 liter of milk carton. Probably pointed out that the possibility the victim had pagophagia or suffered from migraines and needed a large amount of ice. Yo, got any news yet? Oh, hold on, who's this? What on earth is sending a message like this? Ah, that's from Katya. What? This number and texting style, it's gotta be our boss, no doubt about it. You mean Ueno Kaicho? Come on, there's no way that's... Have you grilled all the suspects yet? Hold on. Amazing. Guy does a little emoji face. I guess it could be Kaicho. I told you so. I was hanging with the progress buddy, XD. I'm dying to know. Oh my god, this guy's using XD. Are you swamped right now? Want me to swing by? Tongue out. Aren't you leaving my red? Are you? Getting ghosted hurts, man. Wait, I got the right number, yeah? This is Tamara, right? Sad face. You don't hate me now, do you? Was it being too much? The stone-faced guy shows one behind these messages. Now the perception of him is kind of shifted. Your phone notifications will fill with these messages if you don't reply. What fresh digital nightmare is this? Kaicho worried since its first case of Tamara-kun. He said he's bad at sending messages, but his worry overshadowed that apparently. Before I didn't notice his messages and left them, so my phone's battery got drained from all the notifications. How many messages did he machine at you in such a short span? Tamara-kun, how's it going over there? Are you super swamped right now? Oh my god. Kaicho just wrapped up the meeting, but to be honest, I'm more worried about your investigation. I want to hear your lively voice, Tamara-kun, because your boss I'm super duper concerned. Tamura-kun, definitely call me when you see this. It's promise, okay? Whoa, a lot of follow-ups. Go on. Better shoot and reply. You won't stop until you're right back. Right. My bad for the delayed response. I managed to have right. My bad for the delayed response. I managed to have a check of all the suspects. Did you find out anything? He's inquiring why the investigation is coming along. You better give him a solid answer, or there'll be hell to pay. The victim's cause of death. Possibly homicide. Wait, really? Because the victim had acrophobia. Yikes, incoming call? Yes, hello? So the victim had acrophobia. He investigated well. Is this really the same guy who fired off those wild texts? The victim apparently disliked high places so much that he wouldn't go near windows himself. If this case was an accident, I think the victim leaned in the window and broke the fittings. The window opened wide and fell. The victim apparently disliked high places so much that he wouldn't go near windows himself. If this case was an accident, I think the victim leaned on the window and broke the fittings. The window opened wide and he fell. How I think it should be considered. Would someone with acrophobia go near a window himself, much less lean on it? So there's a high possibility he was killed. Yes. Oh, that's right. The victim's luggage was confiscated by the police, right? Was there any data on Namine Hotel or a laptop in there? Hold on, let me check the list. Nope. Really? A cell phone broken from the full impact is on the list, but a laptop? Not in the victim's room either. And where did the laptop and documents go? Let me confirm one thing. How is the victim's room? In disarray? No, it is completely clean. The neighbor also testified it was quiet that day. A hint from your senior. Some traces always remain in place where a person was killed. Signs of a struggle. Blood. A weapon used to kill them like that. If none of that is there, then there's a possibility it was all erased. But erasing requires considerable amounts of time. If someone afraid of heights was forcibly pushed out a window, what would happen to the room? Thinking about that is your job. Do your best. What did Kaicho say? Oh, he cheered me on. Because you did your best, Tamura-kun. Good for you. Thanks. That was nerve-wracking in many ways. Advice from Kaicho and Yuku added to tapes. Some traces are always left in a place where a person is killed. Traces of blood and wound. However, none of these exist in room 5A in the room of the victim's stain. I've spoken to almost everyone. Should I review the clues and think it over, or go back and talk to someone again? Well, there's still this Matsui person. Oh wait, what's this ruckus about? What are you lot doing in my royal garden? Who are you? You dare not recognize me? Very well. I suppose I shall grace you with an introduction. I am Matsui, the king of this grand hotel. Wow, king? The king of the hotel. What's that? I don't understand. He's not the manager if he calls himself a king. Could he be the owner? What do you mean by king? You ignorant fool! A king is a champion among men, a supreme ruler. Lucky for you, in the Middle Ages you would have been executed for disrespect. Why am I being scolded? I'm sorry? Forgive my impudence, but do you know anything about yesterday afternoon's incident? Are you claiming that an incident hasn't transpired within my royal domain? I've only just awoken and graced this area with my presence. I don't know what happened while I was asleep. You were sleeping from yesterday afternoon until now? That's too much sleep. It's a bit suspicious. Understand, where's the king's room? The top floor suite? Nay, the resting chamber is adjacent to the grand public baths. In the bowels of the castle serve as my throne room. The king of the hotel is a guest? You daft imbecile, the resting chambers within the public baths permit overnight stays? Tamura-kun, I have a hunch. This person definitely has nothing to do with the case. I think so too. It doesn't seem like there's any point in talking to this person any further. So, we've got everyone here. We've got everyone here. whatever in here. Whatever in here, and I gotta get in here. Okay. I guess we deduce that. Okay. I guess we save. Okay, let's go. Logic start. Oh, Mr. Tamura, you claimed to be the culprit even though you weren't? That's right. What happened after that? After that, I got chewed out like crazy at the station as expected. Well, everyone makes mistakes. I've made a big mistake in the past too. Rather than a mistake, this story came to an abrupt end. It's probably what they call a bad end. That's true. According to the information that just came in, there are other bad endings to the chapter. 2 more. If your deduction is way off the mark, horrible endings may await. That's unpleasant news. Where did this tip come from? Let's not worry about small details. We're simply discussing past events after all. You'll eventually reach the truth that exists. The mystery will surely be solved. Tencho, you're right. You might have a talent for being a detective too. What's this chill? I just had a bad feeling. Oh my, what's the matter? I think someone keeps peeking in here every time, to know the number of endings, or just to tease us. Ah, but for whatever reason, it's their choice. Let's do our best together so everyone can enjoy it. You're right, but personally I hope that there isn't a next time. That's impossible. Ah, it's impossible. Game over. That's okay. That's like some attorney's bad shit right there. Well, you know, we say. Logic start. Reflect before detection. It seemed that the incident happened when the victim leaned out on the window breaking the stopper. That's how it appears at first glance. However, according to fellow writer Kurono, the victim had a fear of heights and wouldn't go near windows. If that's the case, it's highly unlikely someone pushed him rather than him falling by accident. The room should be in more disarray if someone had pushed him out. But the victim's rooms, number 508, showed no signs of disturbance and was clean. It was almost too clean and tidy. Moreover, the landing spot of Detective Zombie who fell from the victim's room was significantly different from the victim's. And then there's the testimony about him arguing with someone before the incident. The victim didn't actually die in his own room. It was a different room. That strange thud was recorded was probably the sound of the murder weapon being discarded. The blood diluted with water found on the church's grounds. The victim who reportedly crunched on ice at the cafe and carried a large amount of ice in his room until it broke the machine. Oh, I get it now. So, whoever killed him hit his head with the ice, then threw the ice out the window into the churchyard. By the time they got to the churchyard, the ice had melted and it diluted the blood with the water from the ice, and then the body was just thrown out the window out of either 507 or 509. If there's only one room where the victim was likely killed, and there's only one person I can think of who could freely enter and exit that room. Yeah. It's probably 509, and it's probably the what's his name? This guy. Daiki Shiraishi. The cause of the victim's death is, why did he die? Homicide. It's certain that he fell from the hotel window. However, what was the victim doing just before his death? He was called out by the culprit. The victim who fell from the hotel was probably dead before falling. If so, the murder weapon is... We'll go 509. Considering the room number, the one responsible for his death is... Daiki Shiraishi? The conclusion drawn from these deductions clearly indicates that the perpetrator, the culprit, is you. Daiki Shiraishi. I'm deeply disappointed by this false accusation. What exactly have I done wrong? You're suspected of murdering Takiji Kogane. I was told that he committed suicide. And what was the cause of this death? He jumped from room 508 where he was standing. Isn't that right? Shiraishi-san. That actually hasn't been confirmed yet. We don't know for certain whether this victim was still alive when he fell from the window. What? The hotel room windows are only large enough for one person to pass through, and the windows only open to one side. Even if the fittings were broken, the window could only open wide to the right towards room 507. If the victim fell while leaning on the window, his body would have fallen in the direction of the window opening. It doesn't make sense for him to not have landed between rooms 508 and 507 viewed from below. What? My senior's experiment concluded that falling from room 508 would cause the body to land on room 507's side. But his body was found between room 508 and 509 in reality. In other words, the victim didn't fall from room 508 where he was staying, but rather from the room to its left. Shiraishi-san, it was room 509, where you were at the time of the incident. That's a baseless accusation. A sudden gust of wind could have shifted the body. The weather was calm that day, with no wind strong enough to move the body. Yet all the witnesses testified that the victim fell from room 508. Because when the body fell and people looked up at the hotel after grasping the situation, the only open window was that of room 508. So the witnesses were mistaken. The window the body fell from wasn't room 508's, actually. Naturally, if room 509's window was closed, no one would suspect he fell from there. You closed room 509's window right after pushing the body out. The witnesses would naturally look the open window of room 508. You think I would resort to such a petty trick? Yes, and there's physical evidence suggesting he died in room 509 before the fall. The forensics noted that there was a surprisingly little bleeding for a body in this condition. But what if the victim was already dead, and his blood had started coagulating before he fell? Then how was the victim killed before falling? Room 509 is a corner room with a small window. It's visible from the church adjacent to the hotel. And our neighbors Morpho are gathering around a stain spreading across the church's grounds. Oneiros? Butterflies that are drawn to the scent of blood, or moths. The blood type of the blood those butterflies were attracted to matched the victims, and the blood that appeared to be diluted with water, despite the lack of rain yesterday and today. The critical question is, why was blood spilled there in the first place? The ice machine near the hotel's public bath broke the day before yesterday, and the day before the incident occurred, correct? Yes, that's right. And the victim was furious about that, and demanded the hotel staff regularly deliver ice to his room. And who was it that delivered ice to the victim's room just before the incident took place? What does ice have to do with any of this? The victim's body was found lying face up after the fall, indicating he fell backward. The head was supposedly in quite a gruesome state from the impact of the fall. It wouldn't be noticeable if the head had been hit before. If he had been hit in the head before falling, given the victim's body condition. A block of ice the size of 1 liter milk carton. It's quite substantial in weight and thickness. With a makeshift handle, it could certainly serve as a formidable blunt weapon. Gah! Akai-san in room 507 testified that room 508 next door was quiet on the day of the incident. That means the crime scene wasn't room 508, but a different room entirely. You lured Kogane to room 509 at around 1 p.m. that day. Then, using the ice the victim had instructed you to bring, you struck his head, either killing or knocking him unconscious. You disposed of the blood-stained ice by throwing it out of the room's small window into the closed-off grounds of the church. What the? The blood on the church's grounds was diluted because it was mixed with water from the melted murder weapon. Furthermore, a recorder placed in the hallway at 1:35 p.m. captured a particular sound. It was probably the sound of you discarding the murder weapon from the window. But the body fell at 2:13 p.m. Numerous people witnessed it. Perhaps you delayed pushing the body out to search the room and conceal evidence. You are the hotel manager. It would be a simple matter for you to check the guests' reservation times. So you waited until then to push the body down. To deliberately timed it to have the doorkeeper who was waiting for guests witness the body and obscure the true time of death. For some reason, the victim was apparently investigating this hotel. Yet neither the police nor we could find a laptop or any documents in his room, which means all the materials that should have been in his room were taken. I heard that the security camera footage for the guest room floors on the day of the incident were corrupted. Did you intentionally destroy it? To erase any record of you removing items from the victim's room? Gah! Now then, there's a curious detail here. The fact that you've been lingering on the 5th floor this entire time. One of the victim's acquaintances mentioned it. He had difficulty sneaking into the victim's room because you were constantly present on this floor. It seems you went out of your way to fashion the most troublesome weapon out of ice to make it easy to dispose of. Could it be that there's still decisive evidence of the crime left behind in room 509? For instance, clothes with blood splatter on them, or the laptop and documents the victim had? You could probably sneak those out mixed in with cleaning supplies or something of that nature truthfully. But what if there were butterflies came in through the window and attracted by the scent of blood? If the distinctive scales of the arranged morpher are discovered in the room, or if the blood stains are discovered, that becomes more irrefutable proof that it's the scene of the crime. We're currently unable to enter room 509, where you apparently pushed the victim out the window. We could obtain a search warrant and investigate, but it will work in your favor during sentencing if you confess. I recommend the latter option. What do you say? Who the hell would confess? Don't spout such naive nonsense just because I quietly listened to your drivel. A knife in his hand. When did he pull that out? I was threatened. I had no other choice. He said there'd be no buyers even if it was released normally, and that I had to buy it. I had no choice. There was no other way. I had to kill him. No other way? You invited the victim to room 509 with an intention of killing him? You were fully prepared to kill him and then cover it up, weren't you? Don't screw with me. I finally landed a decent job in this day and age, and after getting fired from my last one. Damn it, I won't let anyone take that away from me. Calm down. What do you mean threatened? Get out of my way! Get out of my way! Damn it, I let my guard down. I'm going to get stabbed. Shink. Red. Whoops. Kabane-senpai. Huh? Oh, it stabbed little me? Aimed at the liver? My, such intense murderous intent. Hup. She pulled it out without even flinching. How are you still standing? How can you be so calm? How? That's because I'm the one and only Detective Zombie. Huh? More importantly, isn't there anything to say? What? What should you say when you hurt someone? Where's my apology? Even zombies feel pain, I'll have you know. Just look at this blood gushing out. There's hardly any blood gushing out, though. Look with the eyes of your heart! She shamelessly tried to gloss over it. What's going on? What in the world? Gah! Whoa, that's quite enough. I can't believe you obstructed public business in front of me. Kaicho! Kaicho, you're late! And you should have waited to make him spill the beans until after I arrived. Well, I suppose you wanted to time the culprit's confession with my arrival, but that was rather naive of you. You saw right through it. The team from Division 1 will be here soon. Room 509, was it? We'll be conducting a thorough search. It seems a great deal occurred here, but worry not. I'll listen intently to your account of events. Down at the police station. That was a close call, I think. And did this wrap up the case, I think? What are you talking about? After we turned away from the site because Division 1 showed up? I'm not sure. I don't feel like it's truly over yet. My hands are still kind of shaking, too. See? At any rate, I'll be heading home now. Why'd you come all this way to the station, Commander-senpai? You were totally spacing out the whole time, so I decided to see you off because I was worried about you. Been wondering why that is. I get it, Tamura-kun. You don't feel a sense of closure yet. More than closure, I feel like I narrowly avoided getting killed. Sorry. That's embarrassing to me. What is? It turned into a whole mess because I suggested the culprit confess. I don't know what would have happened if Kaisho hadn't showed up. All because of my ideals. No, because of my own selfishness. It caused you a great deal of trouble. You have my sincerest apologies. It's fine. People who can't have ideals are limited in what they can achieve, after all. Don't look so down. Guess it can't be helped. And allow me to indulge in a little selfishness of my own. Next. Huh? Selfishness? What kind? Let's dance. What? Oh my god. Amazing. Good job. I love it. Why did you dance? I danced because I felt like dancing. She's true to her own desires. You should dance too, to celebrate our success. Sorry, but I'm not much of a dancer, so I'll have to pass. But I do feel a bit more energized now. It still bothers me that I don't know the reason behind Shiraishi being threatened, but for the time being, congrats on cracking our first case. Yippee! Here's to more cases together. Indeed, I'll be in your care. The next day. Hey there, Tamura. Kaicho, heading home for the day? No, I'm heading over to Namine Hotel now to follow up on yesterday's case. Is that so? Speaking of which, about the reason Shiraishi was threatened by the victim. That's still under investigation. I'm sure he'll spill the beans eventually. Just as you suggested, a wealth of evidence was discovered in room 509. The culprit's uniform with the victim's blood on it, a laptop, various documents, and traces of Oneiros Morphos scales were detected in the room's floor as well. He wiped away the blood that got in the room, and he couldn't do anything about those scales. He had no choice but to open the window to dispose the murder weapon and push the victim out. I suppose the Oneiros Morphos got into the room through that opening. Bullseye. Specialized chemicals and equipment would need to be bought to eliminate those scales. He's probably planning to deal with them after the commotion died down. Good catch on your part. That was the only reason I could think of why the culprit suddenly refused to leave the 5th floor anyway. The culprit couldn't move because the reporter Kuruma was staking out the 5th floor trying to sneak into the victim's rooms. All the evidences would have been quickly erased if he hadn't been there. We made it in time because it solved the case before the guy gave up on his stakeout. You did well solving it in that speed, despite it being your first case. Honestly, I didn't expect it to go that smoothly, especially considering you must have been bewildered about being paired up with a zombie. At least he's aware that I gave an unreasonable order. Well, somehow. I admit I had my doubts at first, but Kabane-senpai really came through for me. Kabane-senpai is amazing in many ways. She doesn't just have one screws, but a whole hardware store's worth, but I'm sure you'll handle her just fine. I'm counting on you. Yes, sir, I'll do my best. Good morning. And you are... That's the first thing you say in response to my morning greeting? Do you know who I am? Yes, I do. I'm Yasu Tamura, your new junior partner. Detective Zombie, let's give it our all together. Damn, almost held hands there. You're gonna get me banned. And we're back here. So that was the first case you solved as a detective with your senior. Detective Zombie? That's right. The victim was initially the perpetrator threatening the culprit, but ultimately ended up being killed and becoming the victim. The culprit was initially the victim being threatened but killed the threatening party and tried to kill me too when I was young. From a different perspective, both of them could be considered victims and perpetrators. That's exactly it. There's a high possibility that the incident would have been treated as an accident if the Oneirus Morphos hadn't sniffed out the blood. And also the positions of victims and perpetrator wouldn't have changed. Oneirus Morpho. I'm embarrassed to say I've never heard of it. I also learned about it later. It's an extremely rare insect that only inhabits specific regions. The existence of an insect for which it's unclear whether it's a moth or a butterfly. And Senpai, whose existence is unclear as living or dead. Without either one of them, we would have not been able to reach the truth. From what I've heard, Mr. Tamura, I think her existence is quite significant. Do you think that? Indeed. Thank you, Tencho. Actually, I was secretly depressed that Senpai got stabbed while protecting me at the time. Even though she was a zombie? Even though she was a zombie. Nobody likes pain, do they? I don't want to treat other people's pain lightly. Even if she was a zombie, especially if her pain was my fault. Congrats on clearing the game. That's the end of the demo version. We arrive at the end. Hooray! Thank you for enjoying the world of Zombie Police. We appreciate your continued support. Pretty good. Pretty good. So, yeah. I guess, I mean, I wasn't able to properly monitor the screen because I'm playing on one monitor full screen, so if there were stutters, sorry. I'll see how this goes, see if this is worth continuing on a, off basis. But, stream 1 done. Well, technically stream 2. We can ignore that, Marvel 3T stream, or whatever. Good. Yeah, I guess that's it. Good job. Good job, team. Yeah. Oh, cool. No dropped frames. This was good. This was good. Okay. Yeah. I guess that's done now. Goodbye.